here we go. So the muscle of the day is the obliques. So we have the internal and external obliques, and these flashcards actually divvy out the internal obliques in 2 different sections as well. So we'll talk about the external oblique here. So as you can see, attaches to a number of ribs and then connects into this linea alba is what it's called. And so that's in the center of the body. It's just this big mass of thick, dense tissue, very, very sturdy. And then we have the internal oblique here. This is segment 1. And then here's the second segment here. So again, also attaches to some of those ribs. And again, has the, let's see, is this also linear alba? Yeah, a little bit. Crest of the pubis and the linea alba. So that's where it connects. So these muscles, here we go. Let's see if I can get them all in there. I know it's a lot. Boop, boop, boop. So these muscles help rotate the torso. So a lot of sideways motion, of course, the lower body with that as well. It has some lateral motion too. And then just simply stability. So that's one of the exercises I'm going to be doing, the Pallof press. It helps lock the spine in place, keeps it very stable, and prevents rotation as well. So those are your 3 muscles of the day. I also want to point out here that these work together synergistically. So I'm just going to look at these 2. A little easier to hold. So the external obliques, note how the fibers are kind of going downwards, and then note how the internal oblique is kind of going the opposite way. So the external obliques are on the outside, so its fibers are going one direction. The internal oblique is underneath, and those fibers are going the other direction. So these guys kind of work synergistically together. When one is contracted, so the external oblique is contracted, then the internal oblique is lengthened. And then vice versa, when the internal oblique is contracted, the external oblique is lengthened. So they're working together in order to stabilize the spine, of course, in some lateral motion, some rotation, or and what I call anti-rotation. Sometimes, like with the Pallof press, there's something that wants to pull you in that direction. Or like, again, this could be a kid or a dog. If you're walking your dog, they just like jerk out in this direction. They have a hold of your hand, whether it's by a leash or they're holding your hand. And instead of going with them, those obliques help the anti-rotation. Instead of being pulled with the force, it helps resist that force. So that way you can stay stable and you can stay solid. So there's the muscle of the day. Very complex yet very simple at the same time. You have the internal and external obliques. One sits on top of the other. The external sits on top of the internal obliques. Helps with lateral bending, rotation, and prevention of rotation and lateral bending. Very important for balance as well. So maintaining balance, and then it will help stabilize the spine, especially like if you're standing on one foot. So your spine has to be stable in this position. Sometimes when you see someone stand on one foot, whoa, they start to bend to the side. Their spine is out of alignment now, and then that's where falls can happen. So and just walking, when you're walking, you're on one foot briefly or running. It maintains that stability in the spine. So big time fall prevention and balance help with the internal and external obliques as well. So I'll be doing a number of exercises in this workout, so stay tuned. And all right, we're ready to go.